We're going to start modeling from the 5th floor, and then later we're going to come back to the rainwater pipes, and after that we're going to be finishing the risers. So now I'm going to start modeling the sanitary pipes from this area. We're going to want to model the sanitary pipes of this current view, which is the 5th floor plan, below the ceiling of the 4th floor. We can also see that the fixtures have been already designed for us in the architectural plan. So first I'm going to track one of these pipes leading to the risers, and I'm going to model that as the first pipe for this floor. We prefer to choose the longest path leading to the riser and start modeling from there. For example, in this case right now, we've got the longest line coming from this fixture towards the riser. But first I'm going to create a section along this path so we could see the situation with the beams along the way and to figure out which elevation we should assign to our sanitary pipes. So first section, and for now I'm just going to create a vertical section along this plan. But do you see how it doesn't show us a section? You might recall that there were some settings that we needed to adjust and set up for the sections in different views. But first let me just place this section. And I know that I'm going to be receiving a message reminding us that we can't see the section. And here it is. Now the section that we've just created has gone under the mechanical discipline. So first I'm going to open it from here. And then when the section is open, I'm going to be adjusting the section settings for the future ones. First I'm going to click on Edit Type. And then I'm going to go over here for the future views or sections and have them follow the section plumbing view template. Click OK and OK. So this is for the future sections. But what about this one? We're going to right click on it, apply template properties, and again select section plumbing, then click OK. So now we've just applied the settings in the section plumbing view template onto this section as well. And now we can see that section 1 has moved to under plumbing. Now which floor were we on? It was the 5th floor, for which the sanitary pipes are going to be modeled below the FFL. Now as you can see over here, we've got a beam in the way. And so now we're going to have to figure out the ideal distances and elevations based on the 5th FFL. So we're in the 5th floor right now, and we're going to model the pipes below it. So basically, considering the 5th FFL, the pipes will be modeled at a lower or negative offset. So first we're going to try to measure from below this beam up to the FFL of the level above. This is the one, so we're going to click. And as you can see, it gives us 900. So I'm going to be considering this number as the basis for the elevations of the sanitary pipes. And then if necessary, I'm just going to come back to this section and decrease or increase the elevation of the sanitary pipes if needed. So let's go over to the plan, then get the pipe command, shortcut PI. Now there are 5 options or settings that we're going to need to check before drawing. In order to not forget the order of those 5 things, we're going to hold up our left hand into a fist. I'm using my left hand because I'm right-handed, and my right hand's on the mouse. Now as I go through the things I need to check, I'm going to hold up a finger to make sure that everything is checked. Now the first thing that we're going to need to check is the pipe fittings, for which we said that we needed polypropylene. And I've put up my pinky. The second thing we're going to need to check is the system type. And since we're drawing sanitary pipes, we're going to select sanitary for the system type. Now the third thing is the size of our pipes, for which we can see that it says 110 here. So we're going to select 110. And the next one is going to be the elevation of the pipe. In this section we measured and got 900, and this 900 is below the 5th FFL. So to start, I'm going to enter negative 900. And also, this pipe is going to be drawn from the fixture leading to the riser. So I'm going to put it into a code for myself, as in I'm getting farther from the fixture. This going farther has a negative connotation to it, so the pipe slope is also going to be down. Negative or down slope by 1%. Alright, so over here we've got 2 back-to-back pipes for discharge, and both pipes should go into the wall, And so if we want to draw exactly according to the plan, we're going to have to start from here. Click. And then I'm going to move down on the plan all the way to here and click. Now I'm going to move downwards to reach the riser. And I'm going to also have to check to make sure the angle is 45 degrees. And now click. Now the plan may not give you the accurate angle that you need to employ, so always make sure that you draw correctly and at 45-degree angles. Okay, so now that we've drawn this pipe, we're going to go into the section to take a look at it. Right click, go to view, and as you can see, the 900 that we chose as the basis of our elevation made the pipe go in the beam. So I'll just select the pipe, then use the arrow keys in the keyboard and bring it lower. So now the elevation of the starting point of our pipe is -980. Alright, so in the next step, we're going to have to add the branches which are going to be connected to this main pipe. So if we zoom in on here, we can see this floor drain. So let's get the pipe command PI. And now we're going to check those 5 points of the left-hand rule. First, we've got the fitting type, then the system type, and then size or diameter. For this one, if you check in the plan, you can see it gives us 2 inches, the millimeter equivalent of which is 50 millimeters, so we're going to select that, and then we get to the elevation. For the elevation, if you want to start the branch from the main pipe, and because it's sloped, you might not be able to tell the exact elevation, so for that you could just easily use the inherit elevation option over here, and as you can already tell by its name, it inherits the elevation, and if you're wondering what it's going to be inheriting the elevation from, that's going to be from the exact spot on which I click. For example, if I click over here, then the elevation of this spot is going to be inherited. Now this time we're going to be moving towards the fixture and getting closer to it, starting from this main pipe and drawing from here. So we're getting closer to the fixture, and the moving closer has a positive connotation to it, meaning that the slope is also going to be positive or up. So now we've checked all the 5 items, but there's one more thing left. I noticed that the fixture item in the architectural file is modeled over here, whereas in the structural file it is up here. So while we're at it, let's just go take a look at this whole area. So I'm just going to create a section over here, click, and click. Now as you can see, since I've applied the section plumbing view template onto the future sections, our section is visible here. So I'm going to make it a little tighter, then right click on it and go to view. Now let's also expand it from the top, because we're going to want to also take a look in the 5th floor. Now as you can see, the floor drain is placed right over here, and so that means the architectural file has this fixture at a different position from the structural. I can also take a look at this part in 3D. So I'm going to go up here and click on Default 3D View. And now I want to view that whole section too in 3D. So all I need to do is to just right click on this view cube over here, and then hover on Orient to View, and after that hover on Sections, and then I'm going to select Section 2. So basically I'm going to want to view the Section 2 inside this 3D view. And now our 3D view has changed to what we saw in the section, so I'm going to hold the Shift key and roll the mouse wheel to rotate it. And also, if I want to have a better view on things, I'm just going to hit VV, then go to the Rivet Links tab, then uncheck Underlay and Halftone. For the architectural link, then click OK. And now you can see that our floor drain is placed right over here, contrary to what we have in the structural file. Now something that we can do about that is to go back over here to the main plan, then go up to the Annotate tab, and then click on the Revision Cloud tool, so we could add a comment about this in the plan. Now I'm going to click, and then in the comments field, and say how there is a contradiction between the architectural and the structural plan. Or I could even write location of floor drain. So I've just added a comment about this, and now I'm going to click on the green check mark to confirm. Now we've also got the same thing going on the stall above, where you can see that once again the floor drain is supposed to be here, but it's been modeled here instead in the architecture. Now let's assume that our comment has been revisioned, and we were told that the current location of the floor drains are accurate. Therefore, I'm gonna have to start drawing the branch leading to this fixture from here. So in order to make sure that we draw the pipe in a straight line, we could just use a reference plane. The shortcut to the reference plane is RP, or we could also go over to the Systems tab, then drop down the Work Plane panel, then click on Reference Plane. Now I'm going to click at the center of the fixture, then I'm going to go far to the left, past this main pipe. Now let's get the pipe command, then check the 5 items, fitting type, system type, diameter, and then elevation, which since we're going to be drawing from the middle of the pipe, we make sure inherit elevation is on. And also since we're drawing from the pipe towards the fixture and getting closer to it, we're going to have to select the positive slope, which is slope up. Now focus on this elevation, which is -973, and see how when I click on the pipe and since the inherit elevation is on, what's going to happen to this value. Now you can see the elevation changed from -973 to -988, as in the elevation of this exact spot was inherited for this new pipe. Now we're going to go near the fixture and click. Now you can also see that we've got the proper T-fitting at the beginning of the branch. Now there's also another thing that we're going to need to check here, which is that we've got 2 toilets here, both of which are wall hang, and their tank handles should be placed in the wall. So if we consider a wall right over here between them, it's not physically possible to place both flush tanks inside this wall. So let's go take a look in the architectural file to see what's going on there. If we go into that 3D view again, we can check it out. So you see there's some kind of a false wall over here, as in we've got 2 walls with a gap between them, where there is enough space for the connections and the other items that we're going to need to place for this toilet. Now if I decide to expand this 3D box a little bit more, first I can just go ahead and press VV from the keyboard, which will open this visibility graphics window, where I can go to the second tab, annotation categories, and then I'm going to check the visibility for the section boxes. Currently we are working with a section box, which we're going to need to see its borders. Now do you see these blue section boxes? You can just click on one of them and expand it by dragging any of the clips. So now we can see even clearer that there's a gap between these 2 false walls, which weren't visible in the structural plan. These are just some of the things that are possibly rectified in the architectural. Now let's head back to the plan, and now we can see those walls that we just viewed. One is over here and the other is here. If we also go to take a look in section, we could again see those wall situation, and here are those walls with a gap in between.